Welcome back to MLH Arts. I this drawing, as I noticed, as you can notice, that you can't see what I'm drawing. My second camera didn't capture the top part of the drawings. I'm sorry about that, but you'll notice in just a few more minutes that But anyways, other than that, this drawing is basically based off a papyrus from Undertale on crack, kind of like the title, Captain Obvious. I'm on a very squeaky chair, so sorry. And I'll say sorry a lot. I might have to start a sorry count with a count. This is a very special edition of me talking about how handicapped I am because my family wants the world to know if I'm going to put myself out there. The world needs to know about what all I've been through. Well, let's just rip the band-aid off here. And here it is that I have a disease. It's something that I can't pass on. It's Ollier's disease. Olliers. Ollier's. It was a French guy that discovered it. And I had it in my right leg and still got it, but it causes multiple tumors throughout the body, and they're benign tumors. And anyways, I was a little kid when I was diagnosed, and went to Walter Reed. It was the only place on earth that I could go to get this rack put on my leg called the Lizaroff, which a lot of people get them put on if you get in like a car accident and your leg gets crushed, and that's how they mend your body back together. It's pins and needles, multiple pins and needles put through your leg and out the other side. I had this, and then the big pins are the one that mount to the bone so the Lizaroff doesn't twist. But forget the pins. It was a full Lizaroff. One of the first ones as a full Lizaroff back in the 90s. I started from my ankle all the way up towards my thigh area. And for months, I was with this Lizaroff on, and I was having muscle spasms like crazy. I was a young kid that had to use Valium because of the muscle spasms. And when you twitch wearing the Lizaroff, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. The Lizaroff is so painful, I won't even wish it on my enemies. If I could describe hell, the Lizaroff is hell. And get to go see most of the kids play outside and don't get to go swimming, have to take sponge baths throughout most of the year. The Lizaroff feels like forever. And I know there's kids worse off than as I grew up. But this is the 90s. Dial-up internet or anything. You're just lucky to have a computer at all. Me, I lived in a house full of carpet at the time, so it was hard to get around with the wheelchair. I found my ways. I was supposed to keep my leg propped up. It felt great propped up. And afterwards, with it being a full Lizaroff with no hinges, now I can't bend my right leg. I've been through therapy throughout my childhood of people saying that it's my imagination, that there's nothing wrong with my leg. People like that. These are professionals, and I guess they're trying to use the tick off technique to get me to bend my leg. I can slightly bend my leg, but I can't do no 90-degree bend. And if I can go back through time, I'd have told myself to get the leg cut off to save all the torture. The way the Lizaroff works, they break my bones in multiple places. They turn the rods to straighten the leg. And then once you look up Olier's, if you're a child watching this, you don't look it up. Look it with it. Ask your parent or guardian or whoever. And I've had to learn how to ride a bike with one leg. A lot of people thought it was impossible. As a child, when I after the Lizaroff, I was bummed out that I couldn't ride my bike because I thought I was just gonna. Cause every time I was just saying, I can't wait to get off my bike. I can't wait for this Lizaroff to come off so I could ride my bike. And then I found out that I couldn't because I couldn't bend my leg enough. And I was bummed out. And I went and laid down. Didn't eat for a couple days. My parents didn't realize that. And then I had a dream of how to work the mechanics of a bike. I would lift my leg up and wait for the pedal to come back around to push it back down. And then that's how I learned how to ride my bike one-handed. And after throughout the Lizaroff, several Lizaroffs, to get my leg fairly decent and a reconstructive foot surgery, my heel is messed up. I have a hard time standing up. And multiple times, just because of the leg not being able to bend, I was told that I wouldn't be able to walk again, normally. And I've been told that twice throughout my life. 2012 came around, and I had a stroke because my sodium bottomed out. And I'm reckoning on the ums and ands. But I had a child, which is Lulu, that y'all know. And I didn't really get to see much of her as a child because I was in the hospital throughout all of 2012, strapped to a bed, out of my mind because of the stroke. I lost my entire left half. I can't feel nothing on my entire left half. And they told me that I wouldn't be able to walk, and I went to therapy. One therapist told me that it was as good as it's gonna get. And my mom took me to that therapy of that session, and my mom was so mad at that woman. She wanted to slap that woman. We went to Zaxby's to eat for lunch. And I'm not the type of person that cries easy. I'm looking out the window. I'm sticking one of their seasonal crinkly fries in my mouth, and I just push the food away, and I just cried all in that place. So embarrassed. Never cried in front of anybody in my entire life. And I didn't know what I was going to do. Because at this time, I didn't know how to draw like this. Because if I drew like this, I drew with my left hand. And I had to teach my right hand. I had to go through all my learning how to draw books. I had to go from the beginning and then everything. I have to show you the sketchbook of me teaching myself. Then you can see the oogliness before it became this awesomeness. And I noticed I forgot to take the pen cap off the picture. My bad. And after that, I wasn't going to settle with that once I got the negativity out of my system. Confined to a wheelchair. I was told not to get up unsupervised. But people are busy. So I kept doing standing up training. My father built a ramp, which I lived with them for a long time throughout the stroke. And the ramp was pretty much like parallel bars. And it wasn't all that narrow. And I learned that I can go up and down it easy. I was just trying to build up my leg strength. Being confined to in bed for an entire year, your muscles become crap. I was trying to build up my leg strength. And I kept looking out into their yard that I want to be able to walk that yard without shaking and feeling like I'm going to collapse. And I walked up and down that ramp day and every day. Got up early in the morning before the hot summer sun came out. Then I'd do it until I was weak in the knees. And then eventually, and now I became this person that could walk the yard. And to this day, at least all it takes is a cane for me to get around. And now I have a Fitbit on me to track my steps. You know, on good days, I can do 2.5 miles. But I'm suggested to have some supervision on that if I go that far. Because ever since the brain surgery, it was a brain surgery because I had a tumor that popped up on the pituitary gland, which caused me to have brain surgery. And then the brain surgery led to my sodium bottoming out. They gave me some medicine, DTPV medicine, for bleeding on the brain. They fed it through the IV, which it wasn't supposed to be fed through the IV. And something like that. I don't know. I was asleep. I wasn't hardly alive feeling at the time. And I woke up not being able to feel my left side. They were saying that I should sue the hospital, but I don't know. It's far too late, too long, whatever. I was just out of my mind. I sounded like a grumpy old man. My voice didn't even sound nowhere like this. It took me forever to regain my original voice. When they told me I couldn't do something at therapy, I'd just make them mad and do it anyways. I think that was their strategy. I mean, for the most part, the thing with the stroke, it was so powerful, I had to relearn to read and relearn how to write. This is the crazy part. Relearning how to read. It just feels embarrassing to be like, I was in my 20s at the time. And it just was so humiliating that I couldn't read. And then it turned out that I'm blind. And I'm legally blind where I cannot drive. My wife pretty much drives me everywhere. This is how I know my wife's a keeper. Throughout 2012, she stuck by my side. She didn't she didn't leave me for another man or something like that. And I know I don't sound like my quirky self. This stuff's kind of hard to talk about. It's really stuff I don't really like to talk about. And throughout Lulu's lifespan, I didn't even. I only had to hold her once or twice before the stroke. When the brain tumor kicked on full blast, I was covering up my eyes from every light situation. I went in bed and didn't eat for weeks. Well, not weeks, a couple days. Got scrawny. And I'm just jumping back and forth on my story. I had a whole setup here, but I'm just jumping around. It's just kind of what I do. It's what I do on some of my art. That's why I have a hard time tracking. And, sorry, excuse me if that picked up anywhere. I had a really bubbly Mountain Dew. But anyways, where was I? With the Olier's disease. Yeah, it causes multiple tumors, but it caused one on my pituitary gland. With them, not pituitary gland, on my, close to my pituitary gland, but it screwed up my octave nerves. So my left peripheral is completely blind. So if I ever do a live stream and y'all do a chat with me, and if I'm having a hard time reading the chat, I have a hard time seeing little words, and I only see half of a thing without me scrolling like a little kindergarten with my finger going all the way to the left side of the page to actually see the entire sentence. But yes, I know it's annoying, but to this day, I enjoy reading my comic books, and eventually this journey will make me towards a comic book artist, which I wouldn't mind. Pretty soon I will have like a comic book video going on. Yeah, I have a tutorial on creating a comic book. Even though I'm not a professional comic book artist, I've studied in it most of my childhood and to my 30s, and I'll show you how to do it. And if you want to do something, don't be afraid. Even though I have no room to talk, it's just what gets me on the comic book art. It's the deadlines, and just to make some decent money off of it, is that if you draw a page, which is like tends to be 5 to 6 panels, the more I'm starting to learn that if you draw more and more of the torso and the figure, you get faster at it, and it's incredibly awesome. And then once you do those 6 panels and all that other good stuff, you have to turn back around and ink it. You don't have to ink your work, but it's beneficial if you turn around and ink it, because instead of making $100 a page, you make $200 a page. And at least I'm out of talking about my disease stuff. But my disease, I cannot pass it on to anybody, and my children are perfectly healthy. Lulu is almost on the genius spectrum, and so is Sally. Sally's on that K through 12, which is a very excellent program, and she just hates it that the art schooling isn't all that great. I tell her it gets better as the older she gets. I when I was growing up through school, I couldn't stand the art program, and art is boring to learn. But when you get to the advanced drawing stuff or painting stuff, it is awesome. Pretty soon I'm about to showcase Lulu and Sally's artwork on my channel, and then let y'all decide which one you like. We have to do like a art challenge of some sorts. Right now I'm just drawing designs, I guess. I think I covered everything. And if my mom watches this channel, she might comment down below and let me know what I miss, because she's pretty good at that. I'll be nice, Mom. And this is my first fountain pen in a very, very long time. I forgot the name of the fountain pen. I just ordered it through Amazon. $16 or $18. And it carries tube ink, and it's got a piston where I can get the ink in a container and fill it up in the piston. I just got the tubes for cheap, and I had to get this. The fountain pen was easy to start, and I had to get used to the pressure capabilities. And as I work along here, and I try to get the match up to the left side. Left side was pigmented pigment ink that I really didn't care for the pens. I like the brush pens. That's what I started off using. And the brush pen decided to run out. And the last bit that was basically like a basic pen that had no fine point. It was basically like a marker and with ink. But it ran out after all the dark stuff that I was doing on the left side. And I did the stempling on the left side to add the graphics. I'm sorry I had to like cut the stempling part out. The stempling was gonna end up making this video 2 hours long. And I was thinking, the reason why I saved this conversation for this video is because of how long this video is, even though this video isn't 2 hours long. But I figured that I'd cut it out. But who would want to watch a 2 hour long drawing video? And anyways, these are just random designs that I'm throwing in. I like Zentangles, and so I tend to call this Zen inking. And I just draw a whole bunch of textures and throw them all together. Try to make this look like Flowey on Undertale of his tentacle things. I watch my kids play Undertale like crazy. I know some people are like, I can't believe you let them play that. And to me it's beneficial, because like they have to do a lot of reading. I know it tends to have bad words. I mean, all these shows, don't get me started with the shows that constantly have bad words. They have to have, they always take the Lord's name in vain, which disgusts me. There's no point in it. And it's disgusting. And it's not just that bad word. It's just like the constant F-bombs. Why? Come on, Quentin Tarantino. You got some awesome subjects. I mean, if you need somebody to be a screenwriter, I mean, if I if this case scenario, I drop in some lines and I can talk some nonsense into your characters, and at least it'd be a PG film, but it'd probably be R because of the blood splatter. And I know a lot of people love the cussing constantly. Me, I'm just trying to keep it G rated, even though this is not a G rated looking character I'm drawing. Pretty soon I'll get back into the old fashioned drawing storybook characters for everybody to learn how to watercolor stuff. I just gotta be able to get to a store that's open with watercolor paper, because all my watercolor paper is pretty much gone. I could do it on the Bristol board, but the Bristol board can only handle so much water on a paper, and it doesn't tend to light the layers and all this other stuff. And I hope y'all liked the video, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, you help my family out. I wouldn't mind being a paid artist doing this for the rest of my life. This is the greatest feeling on earth. I haven't been a paid artist ever since Patreon shut my site down. The only reason why my site got shut down is because I was refusing to set up a PayPal. I wanted to get paid straight to my bank. And if I ever do set up a Patreon and get them to where they do a PayPal, and the membership is on it like $5 a month, and the thumbnail downloads, that was $1, I believe. I'm not going to charge you outrageous for digital content. I don't know if there's any art out there that I do that people prefer. Would you leave in suggestions and comments? Like, if there's something you want me to draw as a portrait, just let me know, and I'll be happy to make a video out of it. And I'm talking funny sometimes, some way today. I said some way. For some reason today, I have no clue why. And I feel like Stewie when he's talking about Brian's book. Where's that book going to be done? I can't do Stewie's voice because my allergies are kicking my butt. And now right here, I'm just doing squiggles. A whole bunch of squiggles. At first, I was just going to write a lot of MLH of my initials. Yeah, MLH is my initials, basically. That's how I just thought up the YouTube name. I know it was kind of a bad idea because there was other people as MLH. But that's why I got Qbert as my thumbnail. Eventually, I'll redraw Qbert and repaint him, since I've gotten a lot better at it. If you look in the squiggles somewhere, in the squiggles, you'll find MLH. I like to leave some stuff like that, and spots like this, and it's kind of cool. It looks like a rose vine in some parts of the squiggles. The only downfall of this pen is that you have a constant drip of ink. I didn't know if I was doing something wrong because it's been a long time since I had a fountain pen, and I don't remember my last fountain pen that did that. And I'm starting to get a dry mouth. Oh no, it's Corona. I'm just kidding. It's not Corona. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Brain fart. just heard KJ scream in the background. And what's so funny is I'm in the washroom recording the audio. Why the washroom? Because the washroom has the least amount of acoustics. And there's a set of dirty clothes, and I got the middle chair sit around them. And I'm gonna do the clothes after I'm done with this video. I promise you. and I kind of like sitting in here and chilling, and I'm right underneath the air vent, and it feels incredible. It's better than sitting outside in the 90-degree weather. Man, summer came quick, even though it doesn't even say summer on the calendar. I don't care what the calendar says, it's summer. Open up the pools, people. Even if you have to do one at a time. The pools sound incredible. I need a pool. Yes, please subscribe so that way I can get a pool. It actually sounds wrong of me just to ask you to subscribe so I can get a pool. I know if I get 1,000 subscribers, they give away a gift. I might do that if I could figure that out. And maybe my wife can help me with that, and I'll be happy to give somebody one of my original artworks. If excuse me, I had a burp again. Try not to burp too loud where it makes the speakers go into the red. And I'll be happy, like, if I get to the 1,000 subscribers, for somebody to win one of my original artworks. And you can pick whatever through portfolio, one of the portfolios, and I'll show a video of some of my original artwork. Now let's do this. Let's get that 1,000 subscriber marker. You hear people talking in the background because they're being loud and they know that I'm recording. But it's whatever. You heard my sister-in-law Pam go dag nabbit. And she's going to watch this video and turn really red. And just because I'm talking about her. I love picking on my sister-in-law. Because she's like a mood ring. Her face just like changes quick. I yell her name in the stores so that way she turns around and runs away. I have video evidence, and I call it Embarrassing Pam. I might post it sometime on my channel, and she's probably going to beg me not to. And we're getting close to the end of this video. Right now I'm trying to figure out what I was doing for the top part. Adding in squiggles. And close to one of this part on this ink that I was using, I only took 2 tubes of ink with this pen. And I started figuring out the pressure too. Yeah, fountain pens, they're pretty fickle. I know it only depends on what kind you get, but I'm not gonna pay out the yin yang or what a car costs for a fountain pen. I mean, you're seeing what this fountain pen is doing. I only paid $16, $18 for. It's not that bad of a deal. I know it's kind of small wise on the fountain pen. It's got a good weight to it. I mean, I'm happy with it. It's doing this kind of artwork. I mean, it does tube ink, and it's got a piston in it where I can get it from a fountain. From a jar, or or whatever, and I forgot where I started on this sentence and whatnot. But anyways, on this brief intermission, I stopped recording my voice and went and grabbed a cup of coffee, and then one thing led to another, and I got a haircut and shaved. Then I took a shower, and I'm doing fantastic now. And if there's any question about wanted to know about me or my Oliera's disease, I'll be happy to answer. Just leave a comment, whatnot. And I'm used to it because with the way I walk, that I can't help it. And some people stop me and ask me for my story, and I pretty much gave you the short version of my story. Hopefully, when my mom watches this, hopefully it satisfies her. And I didn't think I had enough time on this video to tell you the full story. And I tend to get short-sighted on storytelling anymore ever since the stroke. I mean, I've had to relearn a lot of things. I used to write short stories, and unfortunately, I can't find the ones that I wrote a lot. And anyways, but that's the problem. I do short form everything now. I got this new coffee called Arctic Wolf, and it's coffee beans from different countries and Caribbeans, Colombia. I can't remember. I had to look at the bag. Once in Alaska, and I was joking with my wife Brenda. I said, would it have an Alaskan? Would that make me want to chop down some trees and build a cabin? I was like, if it gives me that kind of power, I'd be happy to drink it every day. An Arctic Wolf has an awesome picture on the bag. I have to show y'all. And if they want me to sponsor them, I'd be happy to do so. And speaking of the 1,000 subscribers and winner, instead of just getting one of my final pieces of artwork, how about I just draw the person in portrait mode, or I just do a portrait, black and white portrait, whatever, and it'd basically be free of charge. And if that's cool with anybody, then and let's get some subscribers and let's make this a thing. I noticed that everybody's doing like 1,000 subscribers type of thing. I really don't know how it works as a competition, but I find a way through the internet. I mean, is that how everybody finds ways? Is through the internet? I'm just happy to see that the pin cap is off the picture. On this video, you'll notice some of the editing. It's crazy, like some of the stempling will show up on the skull and disappear, whatnot. This drawing took several hours and lots of breaks. It basically took a couple of days. And yeah, the left side of the skull is heavy stempling, and I could do a video on showing you how to make it look the stempling mean like that. On the right side, I'll do a zoom in of where it looks like it's got crack stempling. I want to keep saying steepling or stempling. I know that steepling, isn't that what you do on the ceilings back in some of the older homes that had that stuff on the ceiling hanging down and whatnot. Yeah, this yeah, this drawing was inspired by Papyrus and Flowey, and I know I didn't do any flower with Flowey, so I just did random designs, and now I'm starting to sound like myself from the beginning of the video. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about, and I know I'm not soft talking. When I get comfortable, I tend to talk a little bit louder, and I know with my first couple videos I was a little shy and soft talking, but with these videos, I'm getting comfortable with telling everybody what goes on in my day to day. It's kind of therapeutic in a way, and looks like I'm touching up some of the stempling with the fountain pen, and it's not showing where I'm doing it at because I didn't realize, because this drawing paper is the same paper that I did Zen ink with, and we all saw how big that paper was with one of the portfolio videos and whatnot. Yeah, it's the same as that paper. It's just like I haven't torn anything out. I'm planning on leaving it in the same book. Why not? I mean, I enjoy it just like it's a sketchbook. Yeah, I like I was saying earlier, I do have a sketchbook. It's one of those comic book panel books, and I might do a later on video of filling them in. And the best way I could look upon comic books, like if you're gonna do a dramatic scene with like how movies do, is pretty much just look how directors and movie artists direct their scene, just a drawing from the foot, and then it works its way up to the character and then showing their face, whatnot. And I know there's some of the whiteout pen that you'll see show up in here. That was just for some small highlights. I did have a white gel pen. It's somewhere in the cluster of the mess that's on my desk. And eventually I'll get around to it. With having 2 or 3 kids, and a desk tends to get messy. And they want to sit by daddy half the time and draw with him. And I don't mind it. I love for the fact that I give them instructions. I told them it's free of charge, and a lot of people pay out the yin yang for some of these instructions. And with it being straight on to YouTube, I mean, I feel like I'm helping a lot of people that do want to become artists. My main goal before I became this YouTube artist, I don't feel like I'm quite a YouTuber until I actually get 1,000 subscribers. But whatever. But my stride was being a comic book artist. I don't know what's stopping me so far. It's not that I can't get them to hire me. It's just because of the fact that I hadn't sent anything in. There's something about my nerves ever since I lost my left arm. It kind of makes me nervous that I'm going to be able to do it. Is that it's harder to hold a ruler. The reason why you don't see me use a ruler, because I have a hard time using my left arm. And when I do use a ruler, I use a clamp. Every now and then on some of the videos, of the sketchbook videos, you'll see the clamp at the bottom of the table and whatnot. I wish I had brought me something to drink, but I didn't. My mouth was getting a little dry. And these eyes were kind of inspired by some of, I can't think of the director. The director that directs Beetlejuice. It's killing me. It's on the tip of my tongue. Tim Burton. Thank you. It came to my brain. Need more coffee. Need more Arctic Wolf. Woo! Yeah, I just howled and it sounded like a dog. My bad. Hope everybody's enjoying this drawing. All this cluster of craziness of vines. And I hope everybody enjoys the shading of the dark side of the skull with the crazy stumbling. And it doesn't look like I have fast forward this video, but I had to do a lot of editing on this video. And it is in time lapse. Actually, I think I should have sped it up some more. But usually I do it on a 4x speed so everybody can make it out, or my hands on the screen and the pen. It's just that I'm putting a lot of detail on the skull. School. Speaking of sponsors, if there's any marker company that wants to send me their product to test out, I'll be more than happy to test it out. I will do a demonstration. Oh, this is the end. And have a nice day. Peace.